Button. Yes. How's it going, guys? Angus here from Maker's Muse. I'm not sure if you can see this. I'm going to go over to the chat and have a look. Welcome. I've been spending the last few days playing with new streaming hardware, and I've finally got it to do something coherent, and I thought, what the heck, it's almost 10:30, I don't care, let's do a stream. So yes, it works. Teresa, thank you, I appreciate it. The hairdresser said yeah, it was like almost extremely pleasurable cutting off that much hair, and it went everywhere, all over the floor. It took longer than Lady Muse's haircut. That's how much hair they had to cut off. We got projects, Technogen. No worries. He's saying thanks for the breakdown, the issue with the Ender. Yeah, that video was really interesting because people were saying that their machines were fine, and some people were saying their machines were having the same issue. Basically, came down to a quality control problem, and Naomi Wu was really good at sort of clarifying that. So Creality has a really good community representative there. Wellbot, welcome. Riley, Shane, hey man, good to see you. Making it so, Alan, Shivel, thank you so much for jumping in, guys. So what I want to know is it lagging for you? Like, is the audio lagging? So what I've done to give you a full bit of information, last stream I did, you guys said the camera quality was crap, which was fair, it was, and to buy a cam link. So that's what I've done. I've got a cam link connecting my Panasonic G7, which is there, and it's connected to my laptop here. And the problem with that is the microphone, which I really like. It's a Rode N2 or N1, I can't remember, USB microphone. But they're different, and the USB is into the computer, whereas the camera is HDMI. So I spent literally all day today trying to get this setup working on another Windows 10 PC, which I shared on Twitter, which is over there. But the audio, if I like clapped my hands, right, the audio would come in before the visuals. And I think it's because I had to install a USB 3 PCIe card. Whatever. So I'm going back to the laptop. This seems to have no issues at all. Volume is a little quiet. That's a good bit of feedback. Thank you. Let's have a look. It might have been changed because I have also changed the software I'm streaming with. That's just, I've bumped it up to max. Now it's kind of hitting the intermediate levels. It's not hitting the red zone though. Okay, thanks for that. So I'm also streaming with something else. I used to use OBS. Now I'm using something called Streamlabs OBS. As many of you will know, I have Streamlabs integrated with donations, and if you're a subscriber, it pops up with a little Maker's Muse icon. That's all done through a program called Streamlabs, which is really cool. But they brought out their own version of OBS, which is the broadcasting software, open broadcast software, called Streamlabs OBS, or SLOBS. And it works really good. Yeah, so LK Design, does he look a little bit pale? Is it just me? It is not just you. I do indeed look pale. So I spent a lot of time getting this set up, but there's still many things to improve, and one of them is lighting. Oh my god, my lighting sucks. As you would have seen in my recent videos, they tend to be kind of, the contrast isn't quite right. I've got one light box on me right now, and I can stare at it. Like, it's so dim. It's terrible. And so I've been using floodlights. So I've got these floodlights around the room. But they run really hot and they're dangerous, and I can't look, otherwise I get blinded by them. So it's nighttime, I've only got this one light box, it sucks, I'm well aware of that. So what I'm planning to do is upgrade my lighting next, and then eventually upgrade from this laptop to a proper streaming PC, which can take more inputs, because this only has three USB ports, and they're all taken up right now. Speaking of being taken up, I also splurged in the end of financial year sales with this, which is a Stream Deck. So, this lets you control scenes really easily. Everyone who streams loves them. It lets me, for example, mute my microphone so I can talk and then blah blah blah. And then you can hear me again, stuff like that. So it's really a lot easier to control a stream. So that's what I've been doing. I am so surprised it's working. Honestly, it's absolutely incredible. I don't get the chat feed in Streamlabs OBS, but I can see your chat here. So let me make sure I haven't missed anything. Okay, so I've turned the volume up a little bit up, and it should be okay from now on. Technogen, only thing I can think of is to move the camera up a little bit so you're looking straight into it and not hunched over. It's hurting your back. Yeah, it's just because I'm tired, to be honest. I guess I could move it up a tiny bit. That'll probably do. Oh my god, what was that?
Get lit.
Oh, Teresa, what the hell? Thank you, I appreciate that. Bringing in the ass donations. Alright. Wellbot's saying you can adjust it on that mic directly as well. Not on this one. This one cannot be adjusted with the gain directly, unfortunately. This microphone has knobs which change the volume of the output for headphone monitoring, and the balance between computer and microphone. You put two bloody knobs on it. You think you make them kind of useful, but no, there's no gain on this. Okay. Ian hopes and Real Nerd would have made their own deck and done a how-to on it. A real nerd would have more time than I do to do that. Also, there's no way I could have done the screen. They've done something really clever where it's actually an LCD screen. There's no way I could have done that. That's super neat. Still quiet compared to previous streams. Yeah. Hold on. I mean, when I talk, it's literally going up to just under 0.4 decibels. That's quite high. I think I used to have some sort of filter though. No filters applied. Let me have a quick look. Filter type gain. I'll chuck a compressor on it. Okay, I apologize if this ruins your ears. let's just go with a default compressor. I don't know if this is helping or not. I will have to review this with headphones. Yeah, okay. I do apologize if that ruined the audio. Hill CT, Streamlabs and Patreon are one thing, but you need to sell that special Aussie Maker's Muse 3D hair gel. Oh, when it's long, you can't do anything with it. It just will stick up or lay flat. You cannot touch it. Shane's saying it's loud there. Okay. Cool. Cool. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to touch the sound anymore. I will play with it a bit more, but I'm kind of happy with the fact that the cam link is working. So the benefits of this camera, except I can't really demonstrate it here, is I can come up and give you really good close-up shots. I can't do that because I'll trip over myself here. But when it's down in the workshop in future, I'll be able to show you close-ups of prints and things. And that should be good. Yeah, okay, so I can't change the audio. I do apologize, but that's just how it is. Riley, my extruder stepper clicks. How do I fix? There could be so many things that could be causing that, man. I would say that your extruder, your nozzle might be almost jammed, or you're running at a lower temperature than you should be, or you're printing too quickly than you should be, or conversely, your hot end isn't cooling the throat enough, and then it's melting too early, therefore it's trying to force through itself as it's melting and jamming. Teresa, when are you going to dye half of it red to match my Twitter? That's a good question. I am planning to do my hair in a random crazy color at some point. Considering I work for myself, it makes some sense to do it. I mean, I've been doing this for a while. Taker, when I asked myself about the Stream Deck, couldn't you just use a keyboard with macro keys instead? Oh, absolutely can. It's a stupid purchase. It was end of financial year, and basically it's an expense. It's a business expense for me. Unless you can justify it like that, it's not worth it. 100%, I agree with you. I used to use just hotkeys on the keyboard, but it's really nice and it's pretty. So I did cave. Yeah, so this time zone's interesting. Like, the UK guys can get it, and it's really early morning for the States, and it's late night for Australia. So I don't generally stream, like, at this time because I'm not very coherent. And I'm usually chilling and playing games, or editing videos often. But here we go. Oh, there you go. Inkdroid's saying I got some easy peelsy. Ooh, I'm lagging. That's interesting. Inkdroid saying I got some easy peelsy and it worked amazingly. First layers are on point. Yeah, easy peelsy stuff's really quite nice. I wasn't joking about my video saying I'm going to use it on most of my PLA printers. They were very happy. They were very happy with the review. Oh, what was that?
Blue Mountains boy here telling you to go to bed.
Harry Butler, thanks, man. Blue Mountains, eh? I almost ended up there. When I moved out of Sydney, I had like a radius I could move to get NBN, cheaper accommodation, and an environment with lots of trees. And it was going to be going up to sort of, Newcastle area, or going down to Wollongong, or going inland to Blue Mountains, Penrith well past Penrith. But I ended up Wollongong. But it is very pretty there. It must be cold, though. Very cold. Skipped frames detected. Yeah, alright then. 22%. That's not great. This poor little computer. Laptops don't last very long these days. Yeah. Yeah, it got choppy for a bit. I mean, Windows might be deciding to update itself. That's why I was trying to use this other computer. This other computer I've got has a 6-core, 12-thread Xeon in it. And I got it really cheap because I think it was like from a mining company that probably went bust. It had some dud memory in it that I fixed. The memory was faulty. But again, it's got that lag. So because this is so successful, I'll be moving to that and trying to fix the audio sync issues, and then we'll try streaming with that again. Because I would rather use a real desktop to avoid having any stuttering problems. Okay. Joe's saying, I get the odd click on my i3 Mark II clone extruder. Keeping the idler springs as loose as possible helped a lot, but I still get the odd click. Yeah, the whole sort of spring-loaded extruder design has always been a bit iffy for me. Like, it's kind of a hack. I much prefer something that's a fixed distance, because with the spring-loaded stuff, if it starts getting dust and stuff in the gear and it starts skipping, it gets worse and worse. And yeah, as you would find, like, tensioning a spring's very much guesswork. I much rather have a fixed distance that I can actually dial in that I know works. But then you need good filament. Spring-loaded one is great for crap filament, which is hard to find these days. Most filament's quite good. ASD is saying, one good thing about laptops is internal battery. Yes, that is very true. Not that we've had any power outages here. I think we had like one for a few seconds ever. But yes, portable streaming would be super cool. I actually have another thing I purchased was a battery adapter for the camera. So that's running off mains power. So it's never going to go flat. It's never going to go flat now anymore. Which is awesome. And I could actually run that off an external battery bank because it's got a boost converter. So the boost converter brings it up to 8 volts or so for the camera. So I could literally stream from a random place as long as I get internet. Should be pretty cool. I know you're pretty clued in with that PC stuff, but if you need any help, feel free to hit me up. Yeah, if I need any questions, I usually ask on Twitter, and you chime in often, which is very, very much appreciated. Shane, direct drive on the Ender. Yes, so what I was talking about in my Ender 3 review is making it direct drive. I hate the extruder design. It's just my experience with it. I did not enjoy the extruder design. It left me with prints that were kind of crappy. Again, that was just my personal experience. I don't know about what I would change it to though, but it's open source now. So if you haven't seen that, the Ender 3 is now open source, which means you can get the CAD files in step format, which will import into Fusion, and then you can model your own mount, and you can print it, and it's really easy. So addicted to these stainless steel bottles. Except when you drop them on your toe. Really, really freaking hurts. Hey, Alfred, what's up? Stream from the middle of Australia. There would be no reception. You'd have to use, like, satellites, which you can't do. No, look, it's interesting. Australia's internet is notoriously world-renowned crap. But our 4G network is actually quite good because they've had to spend a lot of money because we're so spread out. So I can go into the middle of New South Wales and often get a 4G tower and stream faster than I'm streaming now from a cable connection. Well, this is actually fiber, but 4G is just as fast if you get a good connection. So yeah, I could literally stream from like a rainforest. Not that it's got anything to do with what I do on the channel, but it would be pretty cool. Is that coffee? No, it's vodka. It's fruity and fresh vodka. So this works pretty good. I think a great opportunity now is to shoot through any questions you might have, guys, of what's going on, and I will probably test this downstairs next in the garage, because the idea is to have a permanent setup in the garage. The camera I use this camera for my B-roll shots, which it gives a really nice soft focus, but I'll just be able to plop it in, connect it up, and then stream. Like that's the dream. Setting up studio stuff, it takes forever. Necro Wode, any advice on fine-tuning overlap settings? My top and bottom layers aren't reaching the perimeters. It really depends on your slicer, but most of the time, if that's happening, your extrusion width isn't correct. Most slicers calculate it properly. So when you do the extruded line, the width needs to be calculated correctly, otherwise you'll get that issue. So it either means your perimeters are too small than what it thinks they should be, or your infill is, or both. It often happens when I use the wrong nozzle size by accident. Like I'll use a 0.5 nozzle with a 0.4 setting or something like that. So you can tweak it using the extrusion multiplier or the extrusion width setting. I would be cautious of using extrusion multiplier because that's usually cloaking other problems. And then of course there's, depending on the slicer, there's options in your infill to extend into the walls. Like you can sort of inflate the infill to actually go into the perimeter walls. I don't know the correct terms for it right now, but there is definitely ways to do it. But I would check your extrusion width is correct first. Shivel's weird saying, wait till you get 5G. Oh, we don't, like, we'll get 5G and we'll burn through our data limits in like 2 minutes. Great. Mickey Man Mike saying this is the first stream in weeks that's actually showed up on my subs list. That's great. YouTube's been doing a lot of bullshit when it comes to that. Yeah, like the latest is the automatic selection of thumbnails. Actually, funny on that, my Ender 3 review, YouTube selected that thumbnail, so I know it looked like clickbait, and the intro of the video was kind of a joke about clickbait. I was taking the piss out of best 3D printer ever, but YouTube selected that thumbnail as a screen grab, and I was like, this is too good not to use. I didn't make a thumbnail. But what YouTube's been doing recently is forcing automatic thumbnails to some people on the platform, which has been obviously annoying creators because we put a lot of effort into thumbnails usually. But that was an interesting tidbit just in case you're wondering. Because some people were like, this video is too clickbaity. I'm like, yeah, well, YouTube selected it. YouTube loves its clickbait. Partha, how did I solve the Ender 3 bed dip in the middle problem? My bed doesn't dip in the middle. You've got a faulty bed if it does. If the bed's bowed or warped in any way, it's rubbish and it's faulty, and I'm sorry you got shipped it. But, yeah, it shouldn't be bent. It's simple as that. It should be flat. Gary, on the previous stream you said you provide links to a good quality Bowden connectors. Yes, I did. So, sorry. I realized that Chuck, in his video, had already linked to some good ones, so go to Chuck's video. He's already linked to some good ones, and he deserves the affiliate link cash, which is not going to be much from couplers, but to be honest, Chuck's video really did help me in getting this video, the Ender, fine-tuned. So I'll just add a little text to say a couple of links in Chuck's video, if that makes sense. I didn't realize that he had already had affiliate links to couplers, and I don't want to try to compete with him. But if you've got any stores that do like pneumatics or any sort of fittings, just bring the existing ones in and get some replacements. They should only cost you a few dollars. Most decent hardware stores should have what you're after. "3D Matter Makers, I love my Ender 3. I just had 2 more of them arrive." Jesus. I wouldn't I wouldn't commit that much to one brand. I mean, I like having different machines. I guess, like, I do love the Cetuses. I know everyone's like, why do you talk about Cetus so much? But they network really well, so what you can do is have them all on, and then just use the Wi-Fi to, like, talk to them remotely. I would probably, if I had, like, a print farm where I could just do PLA prints, I would probably do Cetuses, personally. But I know they're twice the price of the Enders, so it's hard to justify. Shane, how can you calculate a perfect coasting distance? I've never tried to calculate it, I've just done trial and error. For those who don't know what coasting is, it's like when you do a line, you sort of want the extruder to stop slightly before it finishes the perimeter, because you want to relieve the pressure. There's a myth that when you retract, you like suck the filament back in. That doesn't happen. You relieve the pressure, but if you've ever preheated a extruder nozzle and just left it, you'll notice that the filament just keeps dripping out because it turns into a liquid, and liquid just wants to flow through because of gravity. It just wants to flow through. There's not an airtight seal in an extruder design. So what coasting is it will relieve that pressure slightly before the end, and the idea is that it just lets you sort of get a slightly better retraction result. So I used coasting in the Ender 3 profile, but I still got that little wispy nastiness as it pulls away, because it's just you can't quite stop it. You can't control it with a Bowden very well. But it's just trial and error for me. I didn't really try to calculate it. What's a good replacement PTFE tube? That's a good question. I've had decent results from all the stuff from China, but I know it's so hit and miss. I'm hesitant to recommend the Capricorn stuff to Australians because I know the shipping would be very high, and really, I don't believe the Capricorn tubing on its own fixed the Ender 3 problems I was experiencing. I think it was just, I added it during my attempts to fix the stupid thing. So I think the couplers alone would have fixed the issues. But it is nicer, and it does have I think it's like a 1.9 millimeter internal diameter versus the 2. So it's like slightly better tolerances and slightly tighter. I don't know. I honestly can't recommend something off the top of my head. It's hard. Because the stuff that came with the Ender was, I know PTFE is soft, but this was really soft, and it just didn't look very tight tolerance. Alfred, I know you asked this question already to you, but in terms of print quality, and is the Ender 3 better or the Anycubic i3 Mega? Yeah, I think I already answered that question, but the i3 Mega is a better machine because it's better built, but it's more expensive. I mean, it's all a trade-off, isn't it? The i3 Mega has that really nice print surface that the parts kind of adhere to, then pop free when it cools, but it's a more expensive machine. Adam, where do I get most of my filament from? It's hard because I often don't have to buy it, to be fair. But, I mean, I buy a lot from Hobby King here in Australia because, personally, I value delivery time and above all else. So they have a warehouse that's about 3 hours drive from me. So the shipping is usually next day to me for very cheap, like $10 flat, basically, for 5 rolls, 6 rolls, like 6 kilos for $10. It's nothing in Australia. So I buy a lot from Hobby King, but I do understand that if you're not close to a warehouse, it's really expensive. But filament's filament these days. I mean, if you're in America, like Hatchbox is really good. I've heard very good things about it, and it's on Amazon. You know, if you got Prime, you get it next day. I wouldn't worry too much about where you get your filament from. It's all the same now. If it's PLA, it's PLA. Just you're looking for a better color. I haven't come across filament for about 2 years that is just absolute shit. 2 years ago I did. I'm not going to name the brands, but I did have filament that was so brittle you could literally like snap it like pasta, like it would just be that brittle. But it's been a very long time since I've come across that. Okay, so 3D Guzner is saying the Capricorn tube has a tighter ID than normal PTFE, so it can be a pain with bad filament. Again, it's rare to come across bad filament in my experience, but I don't print with very. I don't know. I don't try to source the cheapest of the cheap, but Hobby King stuff's pretty cheap, like $15 Australian a kilo. Lexio, hey Angus, can you please get back to me in the DM I sent you about Twitter? About the... Oh, that's right. Sorry. I get a lot of DMs, man. That's a fair question, though. I will probably post that on publicly on Twitter. Lexio was asking what's the overall dimensions of the Ender 3. I will get back to you tomorrow on that. I apologize. That is a fair question. I'll be completely honest, guys. I usually don't answer DMs because I get so many. But that is a fair question that is worth ask. That is important. So it can fit into your cupboard. Wellbot's off. No worries, man. Please take it easy. Have a good night. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Okay, so Adam's in Australia. Yeah, I'd recommend, yeah, Hobby King. I haven't tried 3D Phillies. A lot of people love them. It's worth a shot as well. I don't think you could go wrong with them. I just personally haven't tried it. My apologies. Oh, there you go. Shivel chucked a link in. Cool. Cool. So, what else can I talk about? I guess I can, because you guys have been so polite and jumped into this random unscheduled stream, I will show you something I've been working on, which will be on the main channel on Saturday. So, many of you would have seen I'd say viral video of this silver geometric object that rolls, but it doesn't roll straight, it rolls meandering like that. And it's a campaign on Kickstarter for an object called a sphericon. So someone linked that to me on Twitter and Instagram, and I saw it and I was like, this is super cool, I have to do something about it. So I started looking into these objects called sphericons, and many of you will know I did something about objects of constant width. I got madly obsessed with them. Well, god damn it, this is worse. So sphericons are these. There you go. So they take a revolved object, like a square or a hexagon or a pentagon, whatever. It has to be a regular polygon, and then you flip one of them 90 degrees or whatever the proportion is for the angles. So like for a square or diamond, it's 90 degrees. And you end up with a shape that only has one surface or one line, depending on which orientation it was when it was rotated. So I've been having a lot of fun with these and making all kinds of weird shapes that roll meanderingly. I can't show it here. You'll have to wait for the video. But what's really funny is Devin over at Make Anything sent me a DM, and he was like, hey Angus, I think we're both making sphericons, and we're so similar. So he also saw the same thing and was also making sphericons. So we're going to do a little bit of it. I'll do a shout out to him when I release my video. But oh my god, they're so easy to draw and they're easy to print. If you just split them in the middle and just join them together, you can do things like this. So this one I've taken a path with the line where the outline would have been. This is a hexagon, and I put a bearing in it. So the bearing runs through the whole thing like that. It's nuts. Purple filament. Yeah, absolutely right. This is Polyalchemy. Judd, the guy that runs Polyalchemy, is an absolute champ. He looked after me when I visited Shenzhen. So this is his Nightshade. I think it's called Nightshade Purple. And it's just gorgeous. It's so nice. Yeah, I love printing in this because it looks so good on camera. So that's a sneak peek. Very much appreciate you guys jumping into this stream. Devin's off to work. No worries. Thanks for jumping in. I appreciate it, man. 3D Matter Makers. I made a tripod design for a webcam with extendable legs and a swivel head for Joel a while back. Inspired by my V2's tolerance test. Would love to see you improve it. I'll check it out. Yeah, I love the idea of a functional tolerance test. That's pretty cool. Shivel, can you do PETG on the Ender 3? Yes, you can. I don't have the prints with me. But yeah, I did test it. PETG is weird, eh? Like, I haven't printed much with it before, and I wanted to test if the Easy Peelsy could handle it, and it did. So I heated the Ender 3's bed to 70 degrees, and I printed with this no-name PETG that I got sent a while ago as a test, and it worked really well. The support material could break away, and it was good. Yeah, absolutely. So I think it was it was pretty low, like 220 or maybe 225 degrees C on the extruder and 70 on the bed, and that worked good. But you got to let the bed cool down completely before removing it because the uh, the glass transition temperature of PETG is quite low, so you need the bed hot. Otherwise it warps. But if you try to pull it off too quick, it kind of bends. It's not great. Pantelis, hey Angus, can you recommend a good book on learning industrial design? Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know. Industrial design's a weird one. It's so broad. What I studied encompassed packaging design, mechanisms, a bit of engineering and force analysis, CAD, a lot of CAD. Had to learn some drawing. We had to learn advertising principles. It was really broad. Ergonomics, the study of like how things feel and how they fit in your hand, like organization of like curves and measurements of chairs and things, material properties. It's like I would say it's jack of all trades degree for almost becoming an engineer and a salesman as well. Like you don't design. You don't go full into production with your designs. You just come up with the concepts and you sell the concepts, and then someone else has to do the hard work. It's like cheating engineering. Someone has to do the maths, but you design the concept. I don't know any books. Like, I have heaps of really interesting books. I'm looking at my little mini bookshelf. Yeah, no, all of mine are like specifics to designers or very small niches. I honestly can't say without going to a degree. It was a 4-year degree. It was really full on. But I learnt a lot. But really, if you're passionate about design, just go do it. You don't really need to worry about a book specifically. Just find what you're interested in that sort of area, and then like, the internet's full of so much information. I try to add my own information to this field. But you need to be comfortable with just coming up with crazy ideas, like form and function, man. Sketching things. It's really fun. I'm not sure if that was a useful answer. Have I heard about the Creality CR20? No, but I've heard about the CRX. I think it's called the CRX, which I probably will be getting. They've got a new one coming out, absolutely. I haven't heard of the CR20 though. 3D Maker Kid, how would I suggest a Tinkercad user to learn Fusion 360? Oh, that's a hard one. They're very different interfaces, but they're both 3D. So the biggest hurdle I used to come across when teaching Tinkercad to people who had never CADed was the idea of getting your head around a 3D space. So you lift you lift the cube up, right, in Tinkercad, but you can move it backwards, and some people with the right angle will think they're moving it up, but they're actually moving it backwards because of the perspective and the 3D aspect of it. If you get your head wrapped around that, then moving to another package is a lot easier because you can get your head wrapped around a 3D space, but it's a different way of approaching it. Very different. Tinkercad is a primitive-based modeling tool where you take primitives and you add and subtract them, whereas Fusion is a sketch-based modeling tool, so you do a sketch and then you modify it with a function. So you sketch and you revolve, or you sketch and you extrude, or loft, or whatever. They can go check my Fusion 360 tutorial videos out if they want. But really start with sketches. You got to learn how to use sketches and understand that sketch can become a 3D object. It's different. It is hard. I will admit that it's hard going between the two. Unlikely creators, can I say hi to James? He's a fan of yours. Hey James, how's it going? Also, hey Unlikely, make more videos, you lazy bastard. I'm sorry. I really enjoy your videos, man. I really do. I think you have something that no one else has. I really mean that. I know you're busy. It's totally fine. School is a waste of... No, it's not a waste of time. It takes a lot of time up. Hill CT, I had more fun in the packaging design class than any other part of my economics degree. Packaging's awesome. I actually want to make a packaging video on the channel, but I think no one would care. Like I go around the grocery store looking at like yogurt packaging, right? And this is going to sound really sad, but like companies will update their packaging, and I look at them and I'm like, okay, how did they make this? Does it cost them more money to produce this? You know, does it make the package look better on the shelf? I kind of want to sort of disassemble it and see how it's made, and I really find it interesting. Teresa, any tips on making combat robots? I'm going to be getting up some work on the the combat wombat during the school holidays. I did once upon a time make a tutorial series on combat robots over on the Robo Wars New South Wales YouTube page, I think it's called. If you want to go see that abomination, it's pretty outdated now though. It's hard. Like, you'll probably want to start with the smaller weight classes like the ant weights, and you can do them quite cheap by using modified servos and that sort of thing. You can even get like little motors with the control boards on the back of them now. But it keeps changing. I've got like all these parts I've had for years, but if I was going to buy it now, I would actually wouldn't know where to go. I guess the Robo Wars forum's probably the best place to look. Just ask like where those guys get their hardware now, because I haven't been in the game for a while. It's been a while. Techno Geek 3D, is there any maker cafes or hangouts in Sydney or Brisbane? No, there isn't. There should be. I keep wanting to organize an event. I know every time I stream I talk about it, but I just don't have time. Yeah. I actually read a book recently by one of the original members of Tech Shop. I can't remember his name. He was like one of the CEOs or involved in the starting Tech Shop. It's called The Maker Revolution. That's the one. And it talks about how maker spaces are fantastic for the economy. They're great for, like, you know, the local council because they bring in local taxes and all that. They're great for innovation. Doesn't really talk about the fact that Tech Shop went bankrupt last year. You know? So making it financially viable to have like a tech cafe or something is the biggest hurdle. I would love to do a meetup though. Yeah, I know. Teresa's like, do it. Yes, I know. I want to. It would just be like so chaotic. Oh man, one day. Okay, unlikely saying you'll put one video out today. That sounds like a plan. I'm looking forward to it. And PT3D, welcome to this Maker's Muse stream. It's almost 11 PM. I am enjoying chatting with you guys. And if you're just jumping in, this is a test of the new hardware using the Lumix G7 from Panasonic and a cam link, which you guys generously donated to let me afford. So basically everything I get through the stream channel goes back into it to help bring you better hardware and better content. I got the microphone thanks to you guys. I've got the stream link thanks to you guys. And I wasted my own money on this stupid thing, which lets me change scenes. Muted, whatever. Change to like waiting screen. And then back to me. Apparently people put soundboards on these. So you can have like memes. I don't think that's suitable for the channel, but maybe I could do it. I'm just watching myself press the buttons on the replay. Sorry. I'm losing the chat. Hold on. Let me pop it out. Thanks for joining me, guys. I really do enjoy this. Come on, chat. Load. 3D Maker Kid, come to the US. I will be at the next Bay Area Maker Fair, I promise. I really enjoyed Bay Area Maker Fair, apart from the fact I got horribly sick halfway through the event. But the plan is to land in San Fran and then head across. And a bit of lag again. Alright. Whatever. Shivel's saying a button to jump away from epic print failures. Yeah, if something goes horribly wrong, I need a button that, like, explodes the stream and removes all evidence of it. Apparently I can send tweets. Apparently you can, like, map tweets to buttons, which sounds terribly dangerous. Ian Hopes saying, technically men's sheds are makerspaces. Yes, they... Okay. They are, but they're very restricted maker spaces. I'm all about inclusivity. I know they go a long way to helping retirees and mental health and all that. I totally understand. But they don't help me. They don't help a lot of the community. I want something fully inclusive. And that's not it. So, yeah. Daryl, still funding robots? If so, are you using a 3D printer? I haven't 3D printed a robot frame yet. We have a class called ant weights, which are 150 grams, very small. And I am totally planning to 3D print the frame for them, but I did 3D print a lot of parts for my featherweight, which is 13.6 kilos or 30 pounds, I think. I printed loads of parts, including the gears for it, which I did outline in the video last year, which was really fun. And yeah, it does work. 3D printing does absolutely work for combat robots if you use good filament. I used polycarbonate, PC Max from Polymaker. It's very strong. Unlikely creators, could you set up that thing to play an ad? I could set this thing up to play an ad. There's an idea. How about I get a sponsor? If you're interested in sponsoring Makers Muse Live, then hit me up below. Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to happen. Don't push the buttons. Techno Geek, am I coming to TCT in September? No. I had to set a hard and fast rule of not traveling internationally this year to focus on the business, and I can't afford it myself, nor do I want to bring a sponsor in. Nor can I survive the trip, to be honest. I've been having quite bad back pain lately. I try to go for a walk every day, and when I went to the States in October, it almost killed me. It was crippling. So I'd have to fly business class, which sounds really wanky, but I cannot sit up like that, you know, for 15 hours or however long a flight is. It would literally kill me. I would not be able to attend an event after that flight like that. Ian, yeah, it seems the PC is struggling. Yes, it is. This is the laptop. As I said before, I have a desktop, but it was experiencing audio lag issues. So I'm going to try to remedy that and use that in future, because it's a 6-core, 12-thread Xeon with 24 gigs of RAM. This is a laptop that was mid-priced 2 years ago. So, yeah, they go out of date very quickly, these poor little laptops. Core muscle exercise may help with that. Yeah, I have been going to the gym. Thanks. Getting old. Oh, guys, you have no idea. I am so getting old.